Most people shopping for a new SUV in 2026 are focused on the wrong things. They look at horsepower numbers, compare towing capacity they'll never use, or get distracted by flashy exterior styling. But if you're a senior, or if we're buying for someone who is, then what actually matters is an entirely different set of criteria. And here's the uncomfortable truth that most dealerships won't tell you. Some of the most hyped SUVs on the market right now are actively difficult to get in and out of, have infotainment systems that require a software engineering degree to operate, and deliver a ride quality so stiff that an hour on the highway feels like a workout you didn't sign up for. The 6 vehicles you're about to discover were chosen because they excel in the areas that genuinely matter for mature drivers: entry and exit ease, ride softness, visibility, intuitive technology, and the kind of quiet cabin that makes long road trips feel like a luxury experience rather than an endurance test. And one of the SUVs further down this list might genuinely surprise you, because it comes from a brand you'd probably never associate with senior-friendly comfort. Yet it's become one of the most recommended vehicles in that segment for an unexpected reason. Keep watching, because we're about to break down every single one of them. Let's start with a vehicle that has quietly become one of the most beloved SUVs for mature buyers in North America. And that's the 2026 Toyota Highlander. If you've been paying attention to reliability ratings and long-term ownership data, you already know that Toyota consistently shows up at the top of those charts. And the Highlander is no exception. But what makes it so specifically compelling for senior buyers isn't just the badge, it's the execution. When it comes to fuel economy, you're looking at approximately 21 mpg in the city and 29 mpg on the highway, with the standard turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, which generates around 265 horsepower. Now that power delivery is smooth and progressive, rather than sharp and aggressive, meaning when you press the accelerator, the vehicle responds with confidence rather than a jarring lurch. Something that genuinely matters when you're merging onto highways or navigating busy intersections. Toyota's AWD system on the Highlander is an on-demand setup that monitors road conditions constantly and can send power to the rear wheels the moment it detects traction loss, making it genuinely useful in light snow, rain-slicked pavement, and gravel roads without requiring any driver input. The interior space is where the Highlander really shines for this audience. The second row is wide, well-cushioned, and offers enough headroom that passengers don't need to contort themselves to sit comfortably. And cargo capacity behind the third row sits at approximately 16 cubic feet, expanding to nearly 84 cubic feet with all rear seats folded. The infotainment system in the 2026 model has been significantly improved, with a larger touchscreen, physical shortcut buttons that survived customer complaints about the previous all-touch interface, and a standard suite of Toyota Safety Sense that includes pre-collision warning, adaptive cruise control, lane departure alert, and automatic high beams, all active without needing to configure anything complex. Starting MSRP hovers around $40,000, which positions it firmly in the mid-range for three-row SUVs. And most buyers find the value proposition compelling because ownership costs stay remarkably low over time. The most consistent complaint from owners involves occasional hesitation during cold starts and a third-row seat that adults find genuinely tight. But for a two-person household using that third row mostly for occasional grandchildren, that's rarely a deal-breaker. The Highlander earns its spot on this list because it checks nearly every senior-friendly box without requiring you to compromise on reliability or long-term resale value. Now, if you want something with a little more serene, cloud-like ride quality, and you're willing to step up in budget, the 2026 Lexus RX 350 deserves your serious attention. And it may be the most underrated senior SUV on the market right now. Lexus builds the RX on a platform refined through decades of customer feedback, and in 2026, The result is a cabin that isolates road noise and vibration at a level you'd normally expect from vehicles costing significantly more. The 2.4-liter turbocharged four-cylinder makes approximately 275 horsepower, and while on paper that sounds similar to the Highlander, the way the RX delivers that power feels noticeably more polished. There's almost no perceptible shift shock from the automatic transmission, and the throttle response has been calibrated for confidence rather than sport. Fuel economy lands around 22 mpg city and 29 mpg highway, which for a premium vehicle of this size is genuinely respectable. The AWD system uses an active torque split that can send up to 50% of power rearward when conditions demand it, and the stability control works in concert with it seamlessly. You'll feel absolutely planted in winter conditions without ever thinking about the technology working behind the scenes. Step inside the RX, and you're greeted by one of the most ergonomically thoughtful interiors in the segment. The seat bolstering is firm enough to provide support, but not so aggressive that it creates pressure points over long drives. The door handles are large and easy to grip, and the seating position puts you high enough to see over traffic without feeling like you're perched in a truck. The infotainment system received a major overhaul and now runs on a 14-inch touchscreen with a haptic touchpad backup and voice recognition that actually understands natural language commands reasonably well. The standard suite of Lexus Safety System Plus includes pre-collision braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, proactive driving assist that helps the vehicle smooth out throttle and brake inputs, and a digital rearview mirror option that eliminates rear blind spots caused by headrests. Pricing starts at approximately $52,000 for the base trim, climbing quickly with packages. And yes, that's a meaningful investment. But owners consistently report that the Lexus RX feels like a genuine luxury vehicle rather than a mainstream SUV with a premium badge slapped on it. And the ownership experience, from the quiet ride to the attentive dealer service, validates that premium for many buyers. The most common criticism is that rear cargo space, at approximately 29 cubic feet behind the second row, if smaller than segment competitors, and buyers who need to haul frequent large loads should weigh that carefully. But if your priority is a supremely comfortable, quiet, easy-to-drive daily vehicle that you'll still enjoy owning in 10 years, the Lexus RX 350 is one of the most honest value propositions in this segment. Here's where things get interesting, because the next vehicle on this list comes from a brand that doesn't immediately come to mind when you think about senior-friendly SUVs. And yet, the 2026 Subaru Outback has quietly accumulated a devoted following among mature drivers. And the reason why might genuinely change how you think about what makes a great senior vehicle. Most people associate Subaru with outdoor adventurers and dog owners in their 30s. And while that reputation is earned, the Outback has quietly evolved into something much more universally useful. Starting with efficiency, the base 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine delivers approximately 182 horsepower and returns around 26 mpg city and 33 mpg highway. Numbers that are genuinely impressive for an all-wheel drive vehicle of this size and make refueling stops significantly less frequent. What makes the Outback unique is that Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is standard on every single trim level, meaning you never have to pay extra or navigate confusing option packages to get it. It's just there, all the time, providing confident traction in rain, snow, and light trail conditions. With roughly 8.7 inches of ground clearance that handles uneven terrain far better than typical crossovers. The ride comfort has been significantly improved in recent generations, and while it won't match the velvet smooth quality of the Lexus RX, it offers a composed, settled feel over broken pavement that many owners describe as surprisingly calm. Inside, the Outback offers genuinely impressive headroom and legroom in the second row, and the wide door openings make entry and exit notably easier than many competitors. Something that sounds like a small detail until you're doing it multiple times every day. The EyeSight Driver Assistance Suite, standard across most trims, includes adaptive cruise control, pre-collision braking, lane centering, and a system that detects when the driver might be drowsy or distracted, a feature that many senior buyers and their families find genuinely reassuring. The 11.6-inch portrait touchscreen is large and generally responsive, though some owners find the menu structure takes time to learn. Starting around $28,000, the Outback represents remarkable value for a fully capable AWD vehicle with a strong safety package and a reliability record that has earned it consistently high marks from owners over multiple years. The main criticism that surfaces regularly is that road noise intrudes more at highway speeds compared to premium competitors, and the naturally aspirated base engine requires you to plan overtaking maneuvers a bit more deliberately. But for buyers who want practicality, year-round confidence, and long-term reliability without a luxury price tag, the Subaru Outback is a legitimate contender that deserves a serious test drive. We're going to pause here for a moment because the next vehicle might be the one that divides opinion most in the comments, and we want to make sure you hear the full case before you make up your mind. The 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid has been one of the best-selling SUVs in America for years, and its reputation among mainstream buyers is strong. But its standing among senior buyers specifically tells a more nuanced story. On the efficiency side, the hybrid powertrain is genuinely exceptional, combining a 2.0-liter Atkinson cycle four-cylinder with two electric motors to produce a combined output of approximately 204 horsepower, and delivering around 43 mpg in the city and 37 mpg on the highway in real-world conditions. That city number is particularly striking. It means that in stop-and-go driving, where most people spend most of their time, the CR-V Hybrid is extracting energy from every deceleration and turning it back into forward momentum with remarkable efficiency. The AWD system on the hybrid trim uses the rear electric motor to drive the rear axle independently, meaning it responds instantaneously to wheel slip without any mechanical connection delay. The vehicle plants itself in slippery conditions with a speed and confidence that purely mechanical systems simply cannot match. Inside, Honda has made meaningful improvements to second-row comfort, with additional legroom and improved seat cushioning compared to previous generations. And cargo capacity sits at approximately 36 cubic feet behind the rear seats. Genuinely practical for everyday errands, shopping trips, and travel without being excessive in overall vehicle size. The infotainment system runs on a 9-inch touchscreen with Google built in, meaning voice commands through Google Assistant are sophisticated and capable of understanding conversational requests rather than requiring memorized command phrases. For drivers who find complex menus frustrating, this is a meaningful upgrade. Honda sensing is standard across all CR-V trims and includes forward collision warning with automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control with low-speed follow, lane keeping assist, and road departure mitigation. Pricing for the hybrid starts at approximately $34,000, representing strong value given the fuel savings over time. The most significant criticism, and it's one worth taking seriously, is that the CR-V's ride height is lower than some competitors in this segment, and some older buyers with mobility considerations find the entry and exit less convenient than taller alternatives. The steering also feels lighter than some buyers prefer, which can take adjustment. But if fuel economy is a top priority and you value a vehicle with genuine reliability credentials and a strong resale value curve, the CR-V Hybrid makes a compelling case. If you've made it this far and you're starting to wonder whether any SUV on this list can truly combine luxury-level comfort with the practicality of a mainstream vehicle without an eye-watering price tag, then the 2026 Kia Sorento is about to become very interesting to you. Kia has undergone one of the most dramatic quality transformations in automotive history over the past decade, and the Sorento in its current form is proof of what that transformation looks like at full maturity. The available 1.6-liter turbocharged plug-in hybrid powertrain produces approximately 261 combined horsepower and can travel roughly 32 miles on pure electric power before the gasoline engine engages, meaning that for seniors who drive shorter daily distances, the car can function as a fully electric vehicle for routine trips, while the gasoline engine handles longer journeys without any range anxiety. Real-world combined fuel economy when the battery is depleted sits around 34 mpg, which is excellent for a three-row vehicle. The AWD system is standard on higher trims and uses a torque vectoring setup that not only sends power between front and rear axles, but can also bias power between the rear wheels independently. The result is a vehicle that handles confidently in adverse conditions and feels planted in a way that budget vehicles simply cannot replicate. The interior is where Kia has made the most striking gains. The Sorento now features high-quality soft-touch materials throughout the cabin, a panoramic sunroof on upper trims that floods the interior with natural light, and second-row seats with genuine legroom that adult passengers, including older adults who may have back or hip discomfort, report as genuinely comfortable on multi-hour drives. The 12.3-inch touchscreen with a separate 12.3-inch digital driver cluster creates a seamless display architecture that looks and functions at a level that would have been exclusive to luxury brands just a few years ago. And the voice recognition system has been significantly improved. Standard driver assistance features include highway driving assist, blind spot collision avoidance, rear cross-traffic collision avoidance, and surround view monitor. A particularly useful feature for senior drivers navigating tight parking situations. Starting at approximately $35,000 for non-plug-in trims and around $47,000 for the PHEV, the Sorento offers genuinely premium features at prices below what legacy luxury brands charge. The legitimate concern that surfaces about Kia is long-term reliability data. While recent quality surveys have been very favorable, Kia doesn't yet have the multi-decade track record of Toyota or Honda, and some buyers find that uncertainty difficult to dismiss. Extended warranty coverage and strong dealer support help mitigate this for many purchasers, but it's a consideration worth weighing honestly. And now we arrive at the final vehicle on this list, and it might be the one that generates the most discussion, because the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid is not typically the first SUV that comes to mind when you think about senior comfort. Yet consistently, when you look at actual ownership surveys among buyers over 65, understanding why requires looking past the conventional wisdom about which vehicles are designed for which demographics, and focusing instead on what real-world usability actually delivers. The RAV4 Hybrid pairs a 2.5-liter Atkinson Cycle 4-cylinder with front and rear electric motors to produce approximately 219 combined horsepower, and it returns around 41 mpg in the city and 38 mpg on the highway, numbers that make it one of the most efficient non-plug-in SUVs you can buy in 2026. The electric rear motor constitutes Toyota's electronic on-demand AWD, and it activates with zero delay when conditions require it, providing confident traction in rain, light snow, and gravel without any driver action. The ride height on the RAV4 sits at a sweet spot that many senior buyers specifically praise, high enough to make entry and exit straightforward, without the aggressive step-in height of larger body-on-frame SUVs. And the wide door opening angle adds meaningfully to that accessibility. Second-row legroom is generous at approximately 37.8 inches. The seatback reclines slightly for passenger comfort, and cargo capacity behind the rear seats is approximately 37.5 cubic feet, practical without being oversized. Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 is standard, and critically, the system works well in low light and adverse weather conditions where cheaper safety systems degrade significantly. The infotainment has been updated with a standard 10.5-inch touchscreen, and Toyota has reintroduced physical volume and tuning knobs after years of customer pushback. A detail that sounds minor until you're trying to adjust the radio while driving, and you realize how much easier a physical knob is than hunting for a slider on a touchscreen. Starting at approximately $33,000 for the hybrid trim, the RAV4 Hybrid represents exceptional value for a vehicle with this level of real-world efficiency, reliability, and usability. The most consistent criticism involves the interior, which remains slightly less refined in material quality compared to the Kia Sorento or Lexus RX. And the infotainment system, while improved, still lags behind Korean competitors in interface polish. But in terms of reliability, resale value, and the specific day-to-day usability that matters most for mature drivers, the RAV4 Hybrid makes a case that is genuinely difficult to argue against. Now here's what we want to know from you. We deliberately left out several vehicles from this list that many people would have expected to see, and we want to know if you think we made the right calls. Did the Subaru Forester deserve a spot over the Outback? Should the Hyundai Santa Fe have appeared here, given its dramatic 2026 redesign? And is there a senior buyer in your family who swears by a vehicle that we haven't mentioned at all? Drop your answer in the comments, because the conversation about which SUVs actually serve mature drivers best is one that's constantly evolving. And the best information often comes from the people who are actually living with these vehicles every single day.